First of all, you should never be scared of failure. That's no starter. That's just my best advice to you.
The second advice is you have to build a reputation. So don't count on the fact that you're coming from good parents that really had brought you here today. And I love the minute you greeted your parents, because we don't all know what they have to suffer and how much they do for you until you become a parent yourself.
And there is another one that is really very bad here, is that people think if you're that young, what would you know? And the fact is that today, you guys in your age are 10 times more intelligent than we when we were at your age. And thanks to the internet,
In the years, I have been watching videos and learning from African lions and lionesses, learning from the African businessmen and businesswomen. I have never met anyone who is as interesting to listen to and who gives as practical of advice as the guy who I'm going to profile today, Egyptian billionaire Naguib Sawiris. This guy is great. Ladies and gentlemen, he's an amazing guy. He is someone who has made enormous amounts of money, and from what I can get from watching the videos that I have been watching and absorbing the wisdom that he has spit out all over the world as he has spoken and as he has given people advice, what I can get is that this is a gentleman who has made his money but has also had a lot of fun along the way. At 66, Mr. Sawiris still goes out to have fun and hang out with a lot of people and get to have time to listen to music and also create his own music, which is something that he does. And of course, on top of that, get to drink and party with people not of his age. He doesn't party and listen to music with 66-year-olds. He prefers to go and celebrate life with the younger people of our generation. This is someone who I've had an incredible amount of joy while trying to learn from and while getting the 10 pieces of advice which I'm going to share with you guys today. Now, for rule number 1, before we get to the parting, you have to learn, and Mr. Sawiris says you also have to realize that you need to put in the hours first.
When I started my career at 22, 23, I started working from 7 o'clock in the morning till midnight. I did this for 3 years, no weekends. I have an hour nap in the afternoon, just to be honest. Yani. Then I used to go out and party till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Still like now, yeah. So it was not from 9 to 5 because I felt I'm young, there is a lot of opportunities, and if it's the time to kill myself and work to achieve my ambition. And my ambition was sky high. It was the only way to do it because, one thing I learned when I went to school in Zurich, in the Polytechnic, was that being intelligent alone is not enough. You don't put the right hours, so people who actually stick to this 9 to 5 theories, they will not get too far. Yeah.
Rule number 2, build your reputation. You're going to need it.
The second advice is you have to build a reputation. So don't count on the fact that you're coming from good parents that really had brought you here today. And I love the minute you greeted your parents, because we don't all know what they have to suffer and how much they do for you until you become a parent yourself. So acknowledge that, and acknowledge that you need to produce. So you need to create your own reputation. Like if you work in an established, people should look at you and say, this is the guy that comes first in the morning and leaves last at night. This is the guy, the most hardworking guy. This is the most accomplishing guy. So to do that, you need to feel that you're not working for someone, but you're working for yourself, and you need to promote. And by giving to the place you work in, you actually help yourself.
Rule number 3, Africa must empower its youth.
And there is another one that is really very bad here, is that people think if you're that young, what would you know? And the fact is that today, you guys in your age are 10 times more intelligent than we when we were at your age. And thanks to the internet, You guys have more tools today. You have the internet, you have everything, you have the phone, the mobile phones. We didn't have all these tools. So today, as a proof, any father today that needs to fix something with his phone, what does he do? He gives it to his son or his nephew or his uncle to do it for him. So I believe a lot on, the people, the team that organized the Guna Film Festival, the average age was 24.
Oh, wow, that's
And
fantastic.
I think the 24, because I was included, so the average went high. But if you look at everybody else, they were all like, and people are saying, how could you organize that? Egyptians, 100% Egyptian organization, 100% young people, you know, everybody, the teams that were working, and it was a pleasure, you know, to work with these people, you know, and that's what's happening here today too.
Rule number 4, even when you are dealing with those who most people will not trust, you should always try to bet on people's good intentions.
You're doing business with the North Koreans?
Yes, I'm trying to convert them into capitalism. I believe they. No, I'm really serious. No, I'm serious.
No, I know you are.
It's just, I mean, for me, there's a difference between just making money and between doing something good. If I'm the first businessman that converts the North Koreans from a communist-dominated economy to a private, let's say, open economy, then this is an achievement in its own. So I'm trying to help them. I bet on their good intentions. I mean, you could always say, okay, are they serious? They're not serious. I bet on the fact that they will be serious in peace, I mean, and that they will open up. Up till now, we've been having good results, and they've been very, very reasonable in all the commercial agreements we have. I genuinely believe that they want to join the whole world and they're jealous from the Chinese again. They look at them as a threat. They're very uncomfortable with them because they look at the advancement they've done in their economy and they feel, well, we really should have been there too. I think the fact that I'm coming from Egypt is giving them certain feeling that I'm also from the emerging market, you know. But my feeling is very positive about them, and I believe that very soon we'll see them join the world, you know. I mean, and I guess the last news a couple of days ago about them this proves my point, you know.
Rule number 5, the youths must embrace social media as a form to push toward social change.
I'm still excited. I don't think there is any reason to condemn the technology. If we didn't have Twitter and Facebook, the Egyptian revolution would have not happened, and Tunisia too. So we are grateful to these social medias because people could get organized and so on. And regardless of the fact that you think governments are prepared for it, they're not prepared. They don't have the innovation. They don't know how to deal. If you ask any functionary in my country or a minister of interior, doesn't even have a BlackBerry or doesn't have an internet. For them, these are like hocus pocus fairs. You know, they still read old books and so on. So, if the young people, and you know what these young people did, they embarrassed us, who were not so young, because I felt, you know, just weeks before this revolution, I was up to here. I was fed up from the regime. But I didn't see this coming. So these young people came with their organization, with their hot blood and their good notions, and turned into these democracies and liberated the country.
Rule number 6, do not be afraid to fail.
No, I'm never, first of all, you should never be scared of failure. That's no starter. You know, that's just my best advice to you. Always believe in yourself and believe that you can do miracles. So failure is part of being successful. There's nobody who could claim he didn't fail in somewhere or something. But it's not important not to fail. It's to learn from your failures and to stand up and say, okay, I stumbled, but I'm going to continue and try until I make it. If you have the spirit, you will never fail. You'll get to where you want. You know, because failure happens, you know. So my failures, okay, I'm trying to remember. Okay, I actually, come on. Yeah, I did a very good transaction in Italy. I bought this big telecom company for 15 billion euros. It was a great success. Then I thought that success is inevitable because I did the first one. I bought the second one in Greece, and I lost all my money. And the reason was that I actually didn't do the same thing I did in Italy. In Italy, when I took over, I changed the whole management and put my own people. And when I went to Greece, I found the people to be really nice. I thought there's no need to change them. And this was the big mistake. And I failed and I lost all my money, you know.
Rule number 7, even after being offered an opportunity to invest in the most developed markets in the world, you should always realize that Africa offers the best returns.
Here, the situation is different. We came here with a mission to break into competition, create competition, And we did a very dangerous investment, a huge investment over, as I said, $1 billion based on promises that were not met. Okay, you don't expect that in a developed world. I mean, we came from Africa, the Middle East, saying, finally, we'll go in this respectable big country, and there's no of these hazards, there is no risks, legal risks. And then what would you find? Exactly the same scenario. I mean, I laughed. I mean, the ex-ambassador in Egypt is a close friend of mine. And I had drinks with him yesterday, and he still cracks the joke that said Naguib considers Canada as Chad of Africa, because when we came here, we couldn't believe that this is happening to us. The problem here is you don't expect that to happen in a country that has borders with the United States of America. So we from the Middle East, when we come all the way here, we think Canada is like America. Because we haven't studied. Now we know better, okay? But at that time, so they're not compared, but I think this should have never happened here. I think it sends a very bad message. I think I cannot in good conscience tell someone to come and invest here.
It's too much of a protection. Do you discourage people from investing in Canada? Do you say don't do it?
If they ask me, I would, yes. There's a colleague of mine here from Egypt, I think he's here. He wants to do a real estate project here. He is.
Oh, there he is.
He can tell you what I told him.
He said no?
No, I didn't tell him no. I told him, look, you're going to burn your ass here and do all this and spend so much money. And in the end, you might make nickels or dime, or you'll be happy if you get your money back. And I told him, no, go to Libya, go to Tunisia, because the margins will be higher. It's a big confusion, and you'd start from scratch.
Rule number 8. Africans must lead in investing on the African continent.
Because, Africa is still a virgin. I mean, whatever has been done till now is nothing compared to the potential of Africa. The competition is less. People in the Western world mostly are really scared to go there and reluctant, So we are Africans. So we should be primarily the investors in Africa should be Africans, It makes more sense because we know that most of the image that is portrayed for Africa is actually overratedly negative, but it's not true.
Rule number 9, the African diaspora, particularly those who manage to study at the top schools in the world, must seriously consider going back home and take part in the vast opportunities that are there on the African continent. Rule number 10, keep moving, don't get stuck.
The same thing applies that if you're at this job for a couple of years and you don't feel you're advancing, and advancing is not just a promotion. It's not like getting a promotion from a worker to a director, but you're not advancing in your knowledge, the experience you're gaining. So if you're stuck somewhere and you feel you're not gaining any experience, you're not moving forward, don't hesitate. Take the bold step. Of course, me, I'm an advocate of free entrepreneurship. I always encourage and look very high up to every single person who decides to leave a steady job and ventures into the private sector or starting his own business, because that takes a lot of guts, but brings all with it a lot of reward. Because when you have your own business, you're a free person, you do what you want, you start to innovate for your own benefit, you know. Ambitions and greed are not always something bad. You know? So it's like wanting to do best for yourself.
As you realize, guys, Naguib is quite an interesting guy to listen to and learn from. This has just been a couple of excerpts of the advice that he has given all along on the African continent and in other parts of the world where he has managed to speak and give people advice. I advise you to go out on your own hand and be able to sit down. I don't care. If you are going to find 2 hours or 3 hours of him speaking on the web, you should sit down, grab your popcorn and drink, and listen to this Egyptian billionaire. This is someone who has made incredible amounts of money, and this is someone who has given people the simplest of advice you'll find on how to live your life, on how to improve yourself, and on how to make sure that you maximize your time and have fun while living your life and enjoying the things that you do. Of course, all I can say is that this is what I could give to you guys, but you guys, it's upon you to go and figure out more lessons from Naguib. And if you find something else that you want, please also drop it in the comments below. And if there is another African lion or lioness who you want me to profile in the future, be sure to also leave it in the comments below, and I'll be there to profile them for you. Until next time, my name is Maro.